In the last video, we finished our conversion from using an internal state for all of our components over to using Redux. And so now we're actually ready to move on to setting up our project to work with Django. If we look at our project, we'll do an ls. You'll see we have our babel.rc file for our configuration for doing Babel and React, have our build directory, our index.html, our JavaScript directory, our package.json, and webpack.config. We don't really have anything in here yet saying that we're doing anything with Django. So with that, the first thing we want is we want our virtual environment. So we'll do make virtual env since I'm using virtual env wrapper. And we'll say React demo, and it creates our virtual environment. Now we want to install a few packages. We're going to install Django, Django REST Framework, and NodeEnv. Django is for our install of Django REST Framework, because we're going to create an API for React to work with, and NodeEnv so that we can package our node environment inside of our virtual environment, so it's kind of self-contained for this project. With that, we'll do our nodeenv-p to install node into our current project. And next we'll just do our npm install, and it's going to install all the packages that are listed in our package.json file for our project. It's going to go through and do an install. Well, now that those are installed, we can move right along and create our Django project. We'll do Django admin, start project React demo, and it creates our standard project. We'll cd into the folder and we'll create a to-do app. And the to-do app is where our models and stuff are going to live for our to-dos. We need to make a couple of directories. We're going to create a static and a templates directory because we're going to put all of our static and JavaScript files inside of static, and we're going to put our HTML in our templates folder. So next, let's do a couple of settings changes. We're going to go to our installed apps and we'll add to do. Go down to our templates and we'll add our location of our templates. We're going to do os.path.join and say our base dir with our templates. So this goes to our templates directory to look for our HTML. And then finally, we'll go down to the bottom and we'll add static files dirs, and we'll add it so that it goes to our static folder that we just created where our JavaScript is going to live. And we're specifically going to say we want to get the static directory inside of our base directory and then the build inside of that. Since our Webpack configuration, we'll put all of our built files into the build directory. So with that, our settings are done. Let's go ahead and create a view so that we can actually do stuff. We'll import a generic view of template view. Then we'll just create our index view based on that. We'll set our template name to be index.html since that's our main page. That's all we need for our view. We'll open up our urls.py file. We'll simply add in our import for our index view. Then we'll add our URL for the root of the website. You've probably noticed at this point, like it's all fairly basic, common, setting up and bootstrapping a Django project. We haven't really done anything crazy yet. So now let's actually start moving stuff around so we can get things working. The first thing, if we look at our directory of our root of our project, you'll see we have babel.rc, build index.html, JS for our JavaScript, our node modules, and React demo folders. You can see it's where our Django project is. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove our build directory because we don't need it anymore. Webpack will take care of that for us. We'll move our JavaScript into React demo static folder so that we can have all of our JavaScript there. And if we'll ls our static folder, you see the JavaScript folder is moved. We'll move our index.html into templates. Now we just have our babel.rc, our package.json, React demo for our Django project, and webpack.config. And that's really all that we need in the root of our project at this point. We might have requirements.txt and other such things at this level. In this case, we aren't needing that. So now let's edit our webpack.config, and we're just going to change our paths. We'll just add React demo /static/js and React demo static/build. This tells Webpack that these are the locations of our static files, and in this case they're inside of our Django project. So the final thing that we have to do is we need to open up our template now, as it was in HTML, and now we're calling it a template since it's in Django and ready to be used. And we need to import our static, so load static files. Then we need to change our URL to be the URL, and then we're calling main.js so that Django pulls in the main.js file from our build directory. And now in order to get everything to work, we need to do a build. So we'll do npm run build, and it'll build our project for us. And it goes through the normal process, and there we go, we have our built file. And now we'll cd into our Django project, and we'll just run server. Go ahead and let's take a look in our browser. So we'll load it up in our browser, and there we go, we have our React project. Now, moment of truth is, does it work? So just add a couple of items, and as you can see, it works. And if you do the remove all button, that works too. So we've now successfully transferred our project from being in one single folder and all being run through the Webpack server and moving it into Django and setting it up and ready to be used with Django. In the next video, we'll move along the lines and we'll start creating our API. And we'll start creating our API to use with our to-dos application.